Now, for more on the AG's appearance before Parliament today, let's go over the phone lines and speak to Naneje Bafewa, MP for Menchia South. Thank you very much, Honorable, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice says the bail conditions are justified by law. How do you receive this?
Firstly, I disagree with him. The Economic and Organized Crime Organization, yes, has the discretionary power to impose bail conditions to secure the attendance of suspects, right, and in the course of investigations. But it has to be done on certain conditions or factors. When you look at the presentation he made in Parliament, it was obvious that he was only one-sided. He looked at one side. Hence my question, whether as Minister for Justice, he thinks that what is happening is fair. There are several elements you need to take into account in imposing a bail. Don't forget that at the investigative stage, the person is not an accused person. In other words, you are yet to establish a prima facie case against that person. Put it simply, for the ordinary Ghanaian to understand, you are yet to determine whether, in terms of the cases that you are investigating, he has a case to answer. So he's still a suspect. At that point, you are only interested in making sure that as and when you need him for the purposes of investigations, he will avail himself. And so you are asking yourself, putting everything together, will this person appear before me? When you look at the cases they have dealt with, let's take somebody like Chairman Wontumi. He's the chairman of the NPP in the Ashanti region. He owns a lot of assets. We all know, for instance, he has advertised one of the properties he's building in Kumasi with several rooms, for instance, about. Everybody knows. The second thing being that he, for instance, owns a media house. And so you look at the offense for which you are investigating and ask yourself, what is the likely punishment that will be imposed, such that if he is not available and you even decide to try him in absentia, consistent with the provisions of the Constitution, if the court should find him guilty, right, is there any other way by which you can, satisfy the charge? So all these things, you take them into account. And then when you have done all those permutations, right, on a case-by-case basis, you should be able to say that this person, let me impose a lower bail terms or lower bail conditions. But when you look at the cases we have seen, there is a trend. There's a trend whereby hefty bail terms are imposed such that the persons are kept behind bars beyond the 48 hours. It's a trend. And so when the Attorney General comes to Parliament and say it is fair, it's very ridiculous.
But Honorable, let's
please
look
bear
at...
with me. Indulge me.
Right.
I beg you,
right.
indulge me. You see, Frema, the fight against corruption, we are all keen. And what we are saying is that let's make the fight against corruption very seamless, very non-partisan, such that tomorrow, when an NDC person is going through it, right, you will not be in a position to cry that, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Because politicians, we have very short memory. Indeed, when others are victims, we don't see it. When we are victims, we see it. And when you flip it tomorrow, they are likely to cry. And we deliberately, that's why today I got him to say it is fair, so that the Hansard is captured. The Hansard captures it. And that tomorrow when he's crying or their people are crying, we'll use it. But that's not what we want.
Right. But Honorable, the Attorney General also stated that the bail conditions are determined based on the gravity of the offense we are talking about. is the AG doing anything unlawful?
It is completely. That's why I said he looked at it, from a biased perspective. Because if you say you are looking at the bill conditions from the complexity of the offense involved, right? You are wrong, because at that point, bail is not supposed to be a punishment. It is only to secure the person's attendance. And so at that point, you are not imposing a sentence, for which reason you are looking at the complexity of the offense. Okay, you are only making sure that as and when you need the person to attend upon invitation for the purposes of investigation, the person will make himself available. And so when you say you are looking at the complexity of the offense, you are completely wrong. He's wrong. But unfortunately, you see, what's happening on the floor of Parliament is that, look, you barely have the opportunity to talk. The Speaker will not allow you to talk, particularly the First Deputy Speaker. He will not. And so you can't even probe him. Completely protected, completely shielded. And so it's not helping in the shaping of policies in this country. Look, we need to build a system that is seamless, that no politician can cry foul tomorrow or today. He knows that this is consistent with the general principles or guidelines for bail and so on and so forth. It won't be that, therefore, is being treated differently from framers.
Right.
It should be that, look, whether or not NPP or NDC is in power, we should be able to deal with an NPP person, minister, appointee for one offense or the other.
Right. But Honorable, looking at the responses from the AG, it appears nothing is really going to change. So moving on, what is the minority going to do?
No, we are going to go through. We'll deal with it. Look, it looks like nothing will change. Unfortunately, the respected Attorney General, I didn't know he was this partisan. From day one since his appointment, has shown his partisan hand, continues to play or ponder to the partisan demands of his base, which is very unfortunate. He loses the fact that he's also the Minister for Justice, and so he's wearing a double hat and needs to make sure the skills are balanced. Very, very unfortunate. We must fight corruption in the manner which is seamless, which is sustainable, which is, beyond anybody crying victim. They treat me in the manner which you would treat any other Ghanaian. Treat me in the manner which you treat an NDC person, you treat a non-politician, you treat a pastor, you treat a clergy, you treat whoever.
Right.
And then we can move forward, and that people will not see anybody and think that, look, this is victimization. No, this is the problem I have with what they are doing. But unfortunately, the Attorney General is too partisan.
Right, Honorable. Right. Thank you very much, Honorable. We'll have to end it here and continue some other time. Thank you very much, Honorable Member of Parliament.